Oh, cool. Right, we'll see you soon. The journey through the veil of death is not as complex as you would like to think it would be. Man often believes that there is a stop, there is a grey point, and then there is a new birth on the other side. The let going of the physical, the grey of the world in between, and the acquisition of your wings. And you sit on your throne or your cloud, and you are ready then for living a life in the world of spirit. In essence, this belief is in error. The reason being is you never actually start to be spirit at all, because there is no beginning and there is no end to the world of spirit and your life as a spirit. So there cannot be a beginning. And in effect, there is not even a veil in between the two worlds, the grey area. It is no more than opening your eyes. So your eyesight in the physical world is limited to what you perceive and what you see. These are the false eyes. They are multi-dimensional, but they are limited in that they only see form. Once you gain your true eyes, you see much more. You don't see just form at all. There is so much more. So often, as people say that they come to spirit world, and even if they just visit for a short period of time or manage to send messages back to the physical world, they describe that world as being one of immense color, many different colors. Well, in essence, that's true. But the colors are beyond the perception of your physical world. The vibrational rates are so fine and infinite that an immense amount of different colors can and do exist. And yet again, we come to, well, how clear are your spiritual eyes? Are they, on arriving to my world, very open and clear, or are they still limited by perceptions of your world? Well, this perception, this belief in your physical world means that as soon as you arrive, you will see what is familiar. The familiarity may be the viewpoints you see of the scenery, but also of the people that you first meet. And then there is a relaxing, a healing. And this healing process means the eyes are cleansed. The letting go of the physical means the awakening fully into the spiritual. But you will see only within your vibrational rate. That means you will not see all the color that is available or the music, if you want. But as you soften your viewpoint, as you evolve within your vibration, what you do and how you look at life, then as your vibration evolves, so does your viewpoint of color and surroundings. The more evolved the vibration is, the less form becomes even noticed and recognized. In fact, form is often left behind to be the purity of formlessness. So in my world, you will go to the rate or the vibrational rate that you left your world with. So if you left on a 10, you will arrive on a 10. If you left on 100, you will arrive and go to the place of 100. Again, there are no numbers, but just for the example. Now, if you wish to evolve yourself from a 10 to 100, then your work is both your side and my side. You look for the purity of your being. You look for kindness, evolution, for service to man. The amount of love, the amount of peace, the amount of grace, what courage you have given and shown. How you have dropped your issues from the past and awoken more purely into the present. Now, if you think of all these words, in fact, they are not an acquisition at all. They are not something that you find, but rather the qualities that you allow. So you allow the flow of love through you. And in your world, it is hindered by many things, fear being one of them. So your true self, in essence, is what you are letting go of to reveal the true self. Are you letting go of your pains and your traumas? Are you letting go of the attachments, the desire for things to be my way? Are you letting go of the thoughts of being something special? All of this is a cleansing to your exterior world, your exterior body, if you wish, the falseness in your mind, if you prefer. The letting go of those issues allows the truth to be revealed. If you need courage, determination, well, that's already within you. If you need drive and passion, that is already there. If you need more love in your life and less judgment, that is already there waiting for you. So as you see, you do not acquire your spiritual body, your angel wings, your throne and your harp and your cloud. You just let go of what is in the way. And so when you arrive in the physical world on your birth, you are doing no more than putting on a costume and believing that in time to be who you are. And you exit the stage and take off the costume. You see, man chases spirituality and attempts or sees the false self in front of them and makes some vain attempts to get over this false self to the spiritual being. It is no more than a letting go of what is not you to reveal what is you. So if you look around your room that you sit in now, all those things in front of you, in essence, you have purchased to make yourself look better in one way or another. You have purchased in order to make yourself more lovable, where the progress is letting go to reveal the love that exists within. So how many things on your outside do you hold? Do you retain? The books, the ornaments, the array of clothes, the money in your bank. Are they what give you your spirit? Are they what give you your love? Are they the source of your happiness? Now you could say, let's remove them all. That would be a mighty shock for some. Well, for many, I suppose. But within a short period of time, you'll begin to feel your true happiness and your true joy. Do you hold on because you think that is your happiness? Do you hold on because you think that is the expectation that the way you must be? Do you hold on because those books one day you will read again and learn something new? Or can you just trust the love of spirit to flow? The love of spirit doesn't flow just during your work hours or your hours of rest. It flows constantly, never stops, and it is endless, and it is everywhere. What are you holding on to, which is stopping this love of spirit? Is it physical? Is it your thoughts, your beliefs? Is it the way you are supposed to be? Is it the expectations of the world? Or is there a sense of peace and joy that exists within you? So how can you come to my world and acquire spirit? It does not make sense. You are already in heaven. You're just pretending not to be there. So today I did offer that there could be, if there are sufficient suggestions, a topic that we could talk on as a way as an example. But before I get there, let us begin with the healing list, if you do not mind. Please, Brenda.
Amanda and Alex, Ross and Karen, Susie and Rob, Aiden and Abby, Oliver and Claire, Kelly, Marie, Stephen, Ryan, Maya, Ray and Lee, all of the Robbins family, Jamie M and her mom Deidre, Wendy and Beth, Sharon R, Terry F, India and family, Steve and Denise Wareham, Holly Norton, Karen S, Ram and Wendy Beck, Mike Eskins, Guy Bevilacqua, Stephanie, Daniel, Chantel, and Reg. Thank you.
So, Brandon, you have a topic for me, I believe. Which one would you like to ask?
Jane has one here. She's not here with us, but she wanted to ask about the topic of twin flames and the dividing of a soul into two people. Thank you.
The twin flames and the dividing of a soul into two people. Is that correct?
Correct.
Right. In essence, everyone is a twin flame of everybody else. Just you will not see it because you are limited in the way the world is perceived. If all is one, then all is one. And there cannot be all is one except someone else. So in essence, all souls are joined. Now, when a soul first chooses to exist, the period of consciousness starts at its very simplest way. And over a period of time, then, the soul or the consciousness begins to evolve and begins to be more active and visible within the world, and more perception of itself. And the soul, beginning at the densest form, will eventually reach time when the soul becomes aware of the human world and perhaps takes its first incarnation in humanity. And that soul in its first steps becomes very interested in, let's say, the more basic elements of life. So it's interested in its protection, its safety, lots of wars and issues surrounding the protection of itself. There is a desire just for simple aspects: food, shelter, reproduction. Often at this level, you see people engaging in wars and trouble and drama. Now, the evolution of the soul then takes a step into more connection to other people. So here you may have a soul, let us say, that's vibrating at level, well, let's pick a number, level 100. Its needs are basic. It is very connected once to what would have been animalistic life. But as the soul soon starts to develop the first grains of empathy, then the connection to other people starts. And either the narcissistic way starts to rule or the empathic way. And here the soul may evolve to level 120s, for example. So the connection to others starts to gain momentum. The soul then, in lifting its safety and security with other people, starts to build its own sense of self. And the ego takes another form. The ego then starts to look at acquisition, sense of power, sense of drive. But it's still interested in what it can gain as a protection to itself. Now, over the course of time, the soul then, or the consciousness, if you wish, starts to get more complex. And it is around the level, let us say 200, that the complexity of the soul starts to look at the deeper connections with other people, not the simple connections which are about using other people, but now what they are giving to other people. So the heart begins to become active, and the flame of truth starts to become known at this point. It is a major turning point for humanity around this time, as the basic needs are left more behind than the needs of other and needs of truth and the needs of qualities which are beyond physical. All start to become prevalent within the being. So then one starts to look at other people in different ways. And you see beyond the physical, and you see beyond what is a person has. And you start to see their potential and love. At this level, if two souls meet, then one soul looks past the human body into something a little deeper beyond the human body. If you want to call that their essence, their truth, their light, their heart. And the heart of the other begins to shine. And the heart of the first one, then looking at the second heart shining, feels comfortable and safe enough to open their heart. So one heart gives permission to the other heart to open. And the two then have a connection. In essence, one ego is being matched by another ego. But then they let go of that ego and find something deeper. And then one essence dances with the other essence. So the first point of attraction could be physical, it could be ego, and it will evolve into what is deeper. At this time, the essence of the one starts to see more and more connections opposite. And the opening of one heart allows more hearts to also open. As the safety of protection and the shining of light means other souls are drawn to that light. And more frequently, there is a joining of larger groups of people. So if we change the words, well, I am only interested in myself at the beginning. I'm interested in myself and others, but only for the sake of myself. I develop a sense of myself. I start to look at others and find a connection that exists. First with who I believe I am, and then with an opening to my own truth as the safety of another heart allows me to open to that truth. And as the evolution continues of an individual, then there are more and more hearts that can be connected to. As the bright light of one will shine bright enough that others are drawn to it because they recognize themselves in that light that is being shined or shone. So twin flames, in essence, is the recognition or the recognizing of yourself in another. It is seeing your essence out there rather than seeing it in here. And out there allows yours to come to the surface. The truth really is the ego gets in the way of loving all. And you can look at all and see beyond the falseness into the purity beyond. And then it is possible to love all people. And so all people, in essence, will be a twin flame of all other people. Because what is seen in the other is a recognition of yourself. So the twin flames at first is an easing of ego, one ego connecting and finding similarities with another. Maybe a connection of body. But for this to be more than that, there is then the recognition of something beyond both body, ego, and also mind. It is not at a mind-to-mind contact. It is not at a body-to-body level. It is not two egos connecting. It is further. It is what is not seen that is connecting and dancing together to form this bond. So if one then chases a very different way of life, it is still very possible and very likely that the originator will still see the bond of love in the other, even if they are on the other side of the world, because they see themselves in the other person. If that other person then becomes, let us say, sufficiently interested in other things, they have the potential to gradually, over time, become dominated by, let us say, ego and mind and body. And this, in time, will stop them loving the first person, because they see their love in, let us call it, body, mind, or asset. But the love from the other is still flowing. So it becomes very difficult for one side to leave, but very easy for the other side to leave. So the one who sees the truth will desire to stay and requests that deeper connection. The one who is attracted by body, mind, and assets believes that the more body, the more mind, the more assets they have, the better they are, and therefore seems to disconnect from the love towards the other. So there is the reminder of truth that must take place. That the one is losing their focus on what is true must look towards the other once more and see what was first attracted beyond the physical, beyond the mind, into the purity that exists just there. So when two people meet, for some reason, with twin souls, the connection takes place far quicker. And, let us say, it first believes to be far more grand in the impact of that, looking at another and connecting to them. So there appears to be a passion and an intensity to begin with. If this is to occur, if they do not spend time recognizing that it is beyond the body what they are attracted to, that bodily attraction, that passion that could take place could wane and almost disappear. But the love will still be there as long as what is seen is true and not what is seen as false. So if two souls, or two beings, two humans, I should say, connect purely on an egotistical need, those needs will change, and therefore the relationship will change. And therefore, it may not last too long. So the true connection must be beyond body, beyond mind, beyond asset, into what else is there. So this is the worshipping of the third point in a relationship. Let's say partner one, partner two, but it is the bond between them that should be honored and worshipped. A bond between the two, of course, is what unifies them beyond physicality. It is the depth, not the surface, that will hold people together in, let us say, in relationships or communities. And that bond must be worshipped, must be nourished, must be connected to, must be given its own right. So then one sacrifices perhaps one's needs for the sake of the relationship. One lets go of what I want for what may be important. One lets go of the sight of body for the connection of truth. And you would recognize this, because if you looked at your friend or your partner or your community and all of a sudden there was a disfigurement of body, if the true connection is made beyond that, then although that would be an inconvenience, it will not matter. And if the mind was to fall away, the connection would still be primary. And if you were to lose all assets and have nothing, the connection would still be the most important thing. Of course, at times, people lose their eyesight of what is important. And will say today, it's important that this happens or that happens. At these times, they must be reminded of the truth within. So if you remember the question last week, when my husband is angry, what should I do? Well, you must remind him of his truth and step forward with an open heart. This is the reason why. You honor the importance of what is true beyond the physical needs and remind them of the love of who they are. You love the other as an expression of you, and in return, that allows the other to be a true expression of them and to love you back. It is not, you will love them so they will love you. It is, you love because that is who you are. And that love opens the other people. So the true connection of twin flames is the quickness of breaking down of what was in the way to the truth underneath. It happens a little quicker. And almost instantly, you'll skip past the exterior for what is deep. And then what is deep is recognized. That the warning is, do not come back to the surface. Stay in the depth. Honor that truth. Know that that is what's important. So there are times when perhaps your colleague, your connection, your soulmate, your twin flame, your partner, your community seems to look away from what was truly important, gets lost for a little while. If this is to happen, you must hold your truth as a reminder of where they once were and where they must go again. If you think of your child, do you love them for their body, their mind, or their clothes, or their results at school? Of course not. So you can love them regardless of what is happening on the surface. You may not like the surface, but you will love the depth because that recognizes to you or shows you your truth. So the depth of a flame is dependent on how much you will open to it. It allows your heart to open, but it can always open a little bit more. So if you find that connection, be it in a friend or relationship or any other true connection, don't try to hold on to it. Open more into it. Keep opening and risk all if you would like. Because in truth, what's happening, you're going to be the most authentic in that depth. And if you limit what you give or limit your connection, you will never achieve the true depth that is waiting there for you. So the purity of you is seen in the other. And you should continue releasing everything into that depth. Because that is where you are safe. There will come a time, or there may come a time, When you find your true love, and that love or the other person decides for one reason or another to turn their back on you, if this is to happen, it is only their physical self that turns away. The ego may look in another direction, the body may turn away, the mind may focus on other things it seems to be important. And therefore, the one feels like they have lost everything because they have lost their reflection. But it is still there. It has not gone, it is still there. Now it becomes harder to see. So the one that gives, the one that is truly open, will feel the most pain and will often call to the other and say, open your heart back. Can you not see? And I'm afraid they cannot see. They have lost their focus and their eyes are drawn to left or right. So it may become a time when you must allow them to go their way out of love. And now the one who truly gives feels hollow, feels devoid inside. But that is not truth. But that is the way they will feel. And they feel that they've lost everything, even if they retain all the assets and clothes and everything else. It is a description of your love that you had, you found, but it's still there. So the reflection needs to be found in other ways. And this is done by looking in and seeing your truth to find your own connection to yourself. And then you may, and I emphasize may, give instruction to that person to say, be the love that you think you have lost. Give away what you think is missing in your life. If you think you are missing peace, then go to ones who are very agitated. If you think you are losing freedom, then go to those that are in a cage. And give them your freedom. And you can find your love once more. Because you would point out to yourself that you have never lost it in the first place. It is just who you are. So that twin flame is really one flame. One has lost it, and the other one should recognize that they are that one flame still. Although it's not reflected back from another person, it is still within them. They can express that love to the world. They just need to find a way of expressing it. It is not dependent on another. But you will find that you will need or desire something to express your love to, in the hope that once more you see the true self external as a reflection of what is internal. So once one is bonded and then broken, the desire to be bonded once more is still there, because that is the truth beyond separation. If you were to become spiritually evolved, and you would advance through the levels, I think we use the numbers 100 and 200. It is around the number 400 to 500. Then the shining of love into the world becomes paramount. And the need for someone else or something else is lessened. So be that truth. Let the heart open, and let the heart be never ending, without a bottom, if you like. And then you will find that you can love all, because you see all everywhere. You see yourself reflected back to you in the trees, in the people, in the animals, on the breeze. When that is found, there is no need for other, because there is only one. So the twin flames shows that there is only one. First as a reflection, then a connection. Maybe then in a loss, which is a sign that there is the one still there. Now, of course, you could change the word to soulmate. In essence, that is the same. Two egos, first connecting, appearing to be on the same journey, but both opening up to the truth beyond, the non-physical aspect, and willing to shine into the world. This is the opening of the veil. And if the consciousness, the soul, is sufficiently evolved, love can flow through with no target, no reward. So, Brandon, do you think the answer is sufficient for whoever asked the question?
Absolutely. That was for Jane. And she did arrive midway, so I'm sure she will review the earlier words.
Remember, it's possible to find soul mate everywhere, because the truth, it is everywhere. Jane, are you there?
I am, Ignatius. The reason I asked the question was a client who has been stuck in a state of grief for about 10 years after losing her son, who she believed was her soulmate or her twin flame. And I was just looking for a deeper understanding. What I've actually done is asked her to take on his strength as her own and rise above it. But,
if you look at a physical person, what you love in them is not the physical person, because that says I will only love them while they sit next to my side. So if the love is not the physical person, then wherever they are in the world, you can still love them. If that son had moved to another country, would she have stopped the love or carried the love on? Of course, she would have carried the love for her son on, although she may have missed her son being near to her. So if it's not dependent on physicality, then the love can still flow. Is the love dependent on the way the body looks? Well, of course not. So if it's not dependent upon location, and it is not dependent upon body, then the son still loves the mother. Now, for one in grief, that is very difficult to ascertain, but it is the truth. Love is an energy, and therefore it never dies. This lady, in essence, has lost what she thinks is her flame internally. The sun was a reflection to her truth. And the more she thinks that it's not there, the more grief she will have. Now, the answer, of course, would be look inwards, but that may not be where the mind of the mother will be willing to listen. So she should be encouraged to express her heart. And how would she express her heart? Is find something to love. And that could be as simple as a pet, a career, a flower, a painting. But she must look beyond the physicality of it. Love is still in a painting, not in the paint or the paper, but in the intention behind it. So her eyes must be brought to clarity. Look at the intention behind the painting. And anyone that looks at a painting at first sees color and texture. But if they sit with it long enough, love will awaken, because it's in the intention of the painting behind it. So if you are a painter, a drawer, a writer, a composer, have love in your heart when you do it. Because someone somewhere will find the love that is beyond the physicality or the audible notes of music. So therefore, this is why devotional music becomes very important. It is a recognition of the heart in something external. So the lady you are referring to is clouded by grief and has closed her eyes and needs to know that the love is still there, because it is one love. And the world needs to show the love from her son to her as an expression of the love out of her. So she should give away the love of her son is sending to her, to make a circle. I'm not sure my words are sufficiently efficient there, Jane. It becomes a circle of flow. The love that her son sends to her, she should give away. Give away love. How can you give something you do not have? This is the love that is sent to her. So people seek mediums to contact a deceased relative that they loved. And that can be very possible. But the deceased relative is still within them. The deceased relative is within their heart, not in a photograph. Still right there. Is not the connection of two people based there? That's why one soulmate who loses another for whatever reason feels destitute to begin with, and then must find an expression of their love to something else. Jane, I hope that has helped your clarity.
Thank you, Ignatius. She actually is bringing up his son, her grandson,
Right.
because of physical depletion, because of the grief. She's finding it all a bit difficult. But yes, she's turned the corner, I think.
Yes, of course, it's very difficult for a mother or grandmother full of grief to be given an instruction of love of the world. No matter how true it may be, can only start when the person is willing to turn their head to the achievement of something else.
Thank you.
That helps.
Thank you.
Brandon, do we have time for a question or a short talk or nothing?
Yes, yes, you have read my mind, my friend. Let's end this on a quick, lighter note. Matthew would like to know what you or those in spirit do during our time and celebration of Christmas here. Thank you.
Now, the celebration of Christmas in your world can take place in my world as well, if the person is willing. But at this time, the celebration is one of bonding and should be the true gift of giving. So the bonding of love and the bonding of two people connected together. So as you celebrate in your world and feel the truth of your love, then that also brings the love of those in the non-physical world towards you. As you open up to love, then love draws all people in all ways, physical and non-physical, towards that person with the open heart. If the heart becomes closed and the person does not want to love and give and care for another, then the loneliness is felt. And still, Spirit will be there to try and ease the loneliness and the pain of an individual. And would call onto that individual to come to their truth of understanding, to feel the connection of one with another. So the true spirit of Christmas, of course, is based in love. It is based in light. It is based in bonding and bringing people together. Of course, the egos have a role to play in it, which may make it a little more complex. But it is with the opening and brightness of heart that the truth be known. So one who is spiritual should go to a Christmas gathering with the widest heart that they can manage. The most open heart to allow the flow of love to flow through them, through to all and others. And in that flow, the connection of spirit will be there. And if you look at it another way, if there's love in your heart, you'll feel the connection of spirit more definitely. Because spirit comes with love. Love is a higher vibration, etc. So we follow the trail of love. We are drawn left and right. Now, of course, a soul that is working in the astral world will create their own Christmas. But if you're creating your ideal Christmas, what type of Christmas would you create if you could create it exactly? Then you see the desire for love that is there as well. So it is the bonding that is important. It is the opening to love and the connection that is important. And it is the expression of truth. Know that those who only see egos will have drama. Those that only see love will not. Our world, we do not see the drama. I trust that answers the question.
So wonderful. Thank you from all of us.
Thank you. Do you have more topics for next week, Brendan?
Indeed, I do.
Well, until then, God bless you all.
Hmm.